Welcome to Movie to Beer, everybody. Thanks for listening and checking us out. We watched a really fun, awesome movie, and I would like to thank you all for joining us again, because this is, COVID time, and it's hard for us to kind of get out and do stuff, and there are a lot of other things, and so, so I'm Dan.
I'm Blake.
And I'm Randall.
And here we go.
Let's talk about some beer news.
We got some awesome beer news. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. The GABF, the Great American Beer Festival, just announced their winners. And every year we have a number of Oregon and Washington breweries in the metro area that do win. This year we didn't run away with the prizes like we did in years past, like every year.
Hashtag humble brag.
Hashtag humble brag. There's a lot of really freaking good breweries in the area, including, Southwest Washington. I'll get it out there.
One day.
Someday. We have Old Town Brewing won a couple bronzes. Their beers are awesome. They're not that far from where we are. And back in the day before COVID and the before times, we were actually going to do an episode at their location, and that never happened because of COVID. Thank you.
We still might.
We can revisit it. We'll figure it out.
What did they win? Did we talk?
So they won for their Pilsner under American Pilsner category, and then they won bronze for Polly's Not Irish, which is one of my favorite beers they make, which is American style red ale.
What would we watch with the pills, guys?
We were talking about that. There's a lot of really good Pilsner kind of adjacent films out there, but I think something fun.
Something fun.
Classic.
I keep thinking summer, and that's why I always go back to Sandlot.
Yeah.
The Sandlot's an excellent summer movie. I could easily knock a couple back while watching those boys play baseball.
I went old school and said an old Elvis beach film.
Have you guys seen?
Such a good idea.
Have you guys seen The Florida Project?
No,
we
you
have
told
it
us about
available.
it.
Yeah, we haven't watched it yet, but we can perhaps think about doing that. And so for then Polly's Not Irish Red, I made the suggestion, well, it's a not Irish beer, so let's make a suggestion for a not Irish film. But then there's a bunch of really kind of crazy Irish-related films that are out there.
Yeah.
If you want a musical fun one, The Commitments is probably the only one out there that's worth watching.
Have you guys seen this meme of Willem Dafoe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, Florida Project with
Back
the pills.
to formula.
That's what I'm picking.
Yeah, there you go. It could happen. You never know.
I'm adding it to the list. Okay.
Nice.
So then there's a bunch. There's about 22 beers from the metro area. So we'll kind of go through them quickly here. If you care about listening, you can just Google GABF 2020 winners, and if you put in Oregon or Washington, you can also sort them by state.
Mm-hmm. Let's give the losers some love. Go to the bottom of the list and let's give the losers.
Well,
some
it's
love.
alphanumeric. It's alphanumeric.
Oh.
It doesn't really. There's some bronzes.
How are you supposed to pick?
Von Ebert won a couple bronzes. That's cool.
Von
Ebert. We get food from them. They have 2-for-1 pizzas on Tuesdays. That's all I'm going to say. Rogue won for their pumpkin beer, and I couldn't find it. I looked at 2 places, and I couldn't find it. So it must be really super popular and sold out.
I feel like we've talked about that before, how I want to say last year we tried it, and I was hesitant because I don't usually like anything pumpkin, because most things I have they overdo it on the pumpkin. Mm-hmm. And we got to try a Rogue One, and you were commenting man, it was I had to dash to get it. And I was like, what? Why? Sip?
Yeah.
Oh, I see why.
Nice.
What would you guys watch with Rogue One?
The Star Wars story.
Rogue One?
Randall teased it up by knocking it out of the park.
And you never know. I mean, Rogue has some locations. They haven't closed most of their places, like some of the other breweries around that have a lot of locations. They still do food to go, and you can get beer to go, and bottles and cans available on site, growlers, fills, all that stuff.
I feel like with most Rogue beers, I always want to watch an Edgar Wright movie.
Yes.
There's always a lot happening. He always does that. Well, not always, but he often does that trick where he tells you the plot at the beginning through a seemingly unconnected story, and then you're like, "Oh man, this is awesome."
Yes. So the other one that I wanted to bring up also was Breakside, who we have had a few times on the show. They make awesome RPAs, Pilsner, sour beers. They won for their Gosa, so I applaud them.
May I say, Gosa get one?
Gosa get one.
Terrible.
Yes.
So, I don't get it.
They got a gold medal, so props to them. Freem out in Hood River, which we've had a few times as well.
Yeah, Freem has a great lager, Pilsner.
Yes.
They made something
All
recently that was
above.
yum.
A Japanese lager, 1 gold. They got a silver, another gold for their Kolsch, which is also quite delectable.
Ooh, that's a good word.
And I think that's it for them as I'm scrolling through my list here.
Nice.
That looks like it. So, yeah, they got a couple. And then another in the neighborhood, which I'm going to give a big shout out to, Ex Novo Brewing. Ex Novo does a really good Pilsner. And they do a Bohemian-style Pilsner called Pearl Haggard.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of flavor. And they got gold for that. So, band props to them. And last but not least, we can bring up one more. We got another local that's actually, they have a location over here on Mississippi Avenue. They're called Stormbreaker Brewing, and they got a silver for their ESB.
Any more winners? Any more?
No, I mean, there's a few other listed there, but we can move on.
Music.
I talked about the ones I wanted to talk about.
Who's our sponsor today, Blake?
John Fulton of Fulton General Store.
Oh.
Hi there, I'm John Fulton of Fulton General Store. We carry all your needs for living out in the desert as a hillbilly. We carry flour, milk, eggs, and now regular style Cheerios.
Oh, regular size.
But if you cross one of our people, we will summon our dread Lord Pumpkinhead to enact our royal vengeance upon you.
Whoa.
We also carry Slim Jims. Come on down.
Oh, man, the general
Beef
store.
jerky.
I love a good general store.
I want some beef jerky.
You're going to have to pay for that, son. Pumpkinhead, get him.
Get him. Get him. Get him.
Sounds like a fun job.
Get
Working
him.
at the general store. Okay.
Well, they had fruit. I wonder how fresh that fruit was, though.
I guarantee it was wax.
He was hosing it down. I'm like, oh, that can't be that fresh.
But you know what they didn't have?
They didn't have beer.
No beer.
I saw that in the notes. No liquor.
No beer.
All right, Dan, give us an intro.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for keeping in with us. This is Movie and a Beer, and we're talking about kind of a Halloween episode where we watched the movie Pumpkinhead, which was quite an interesting film. I got nothing bad to say about it other than it is an 80s era, really cheesy, bad music.
Very of the time.
Practical effects. There's no green screen in this at all.
To call it a film is very, very generous of you.
Yes, it's about 90 minutes of, really slow grind. It does have some famous actors that give it credibility.
Lance Henriksen.
Yes.
Shoot. And that's all I remember. Awkward.
Yes. And it has pumpkins in it. I mean, he goes to the pumpkin graveyard.
There are technically some pumpkins, yeah.
Yeah, so the moral of the story is don't mess with the people because you know what? Pumpkinhead's going to get you.
Also, don't drink and motorbike.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Because then you'll take out a kid and spur a redneck to horror vengeance.
Also, read the script before you decide to sign up for a movie called Pumpkinhead.
He did so many good films.
Apparently, Lance Henriksen read the script and took the role because of the point where, and as always, spoiler alerts, where the dead kid sits up and goes, "What'd you do, Papa?"
And he goes,
he's like, "Yeah, dog.
I'm killing people for you, son."
This movie's for me.
We talked a little bit about, before the episode about it, and there's just really cheesy special effects, and it's not bad writing. It's just
it's of the time.
It
hits all the tropes.
It hits all the tropes. It's very cliche.
It's got the teens going out to a vacation.
They're college age, not teens.
I mean, everyone over in their 30s looks like a teenager.
Pretty much.
In film and television.
Yes.
But a bunch of college kids going out they upset the local balance with the rednecks. The rednecks go and summon a demon at a witch's hut.
Yes.
Which sends the demon connected to the guy, which took me a minute to realize.
Well, he used the blood.
The kids.
You take the blood of the person killed and the blood of the person seeking vengeance, and you become Pumpkinhead, basically. That's why, in the end, he tries to kill himself, and he's not very successful at it, because Pumpkinhead is still not finished with his quest.
Yep.
It's the classic trope of city slickers meet evil demon Pumpkinhead.
Yep. That tale is old as time.
The scariest
Beauty and the Pumpkinhead.
I'm going to say there's two things that were scary. The jump scare with the dog, with the shitty music that just boom.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, so I was fine.
Let's look at the plot keywords on IMDb.
Ooh, demon.
Demon, vengeance, monster, first part.
I mean, they made more.
Evil woman. Oh, yeah, first part.
There's an evil.
Oh my God.
No, Randall, you have to pronounce it. You beat me to it.
Evil woman.
Evil woman.
Yes, there's a Pumpkinhead 2, but I warn you not to watch it because it doesn't have anything to do with the first one, and it sucks.
Yeah.
If you're gonna watch a sequel that gives you what you need for a horror movie, watch Friday the 13th too.
Yes, exactly. That's much better. So this film centers around Appalachia. You have these young people riding their motorcycles, hit a kid, hurt him, killed him.
Yep.
They run off, and they leave him, except for the one younger brother who's like, I'm going to do the right thing. And, of course, who dies first?
The nerd.
The dumb one that stayed behind.
Yeah.
It's like, are you okay?
Well, I mean, it was nice to see like one guy trying to do the right thing when all the rest of the characters are kind of awful. Like,
they're dumb. They're just so mean.
I'm used to the college-age kids and teens just all wanting to bang each other and swim in the lake, not smack each other with logs and lock each other in closets.
Which happens.
Yeah, but it was different.
I'm just looking at all the plot keywords,
There's
and I'm trying to pick one from each column for a name for a beer.
Canine. White trash.
Noise pollution father.
Overall,
what kind of beer is that, Dan? What kind of beer is noise pollution father? It's pills.
No, it's juicy IPA.
Juicy IPA.
It's noisy and it's
okay.
There's a lot of them.
All right, let me make a name.
Yeah,
let me make a name.
pick some keywords here.
The movie was so wonderful. We're digressing into something else because
this is
the
great.
Movie, there's nothing to talk about.
You don't miss anything. Cinematography is nice.
Hey, Dan, we're at a in the old days. We're at a brewery, and I look up and go, "Ooh, what's the Witch Revenge?"
Witch Revenge.
Ooh, that's nice.
That would be
Witch
would be
Revenge
a
is a good beer name.
That's
nice
a good beer
job,
name.
Blake.
That
nice
would go
job.
really well with either of the two beers that we drank: the Night Owl from Elysian or the Voodoo Ranger spicy release of Atomic Pumpkin. Yeah, both pumpkin beers, and I think
you're thinking seasonal,
Christmas time. So the fun thing about, I love to mix up my holidays, and I have no problem saying let's dress up in Christmas costumes at Halloween.
I mean, it's a
I
costume.
do that. I've done that, and people look at me weird, like, "What? You're mixing it up, dude?" And I'm like, "No,
well, as long as you're not hiding eggs for Thanksgiving, I guess I'm cool with it."
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, you play. Pick some words here and make a beer name,
and then Randall and I will.
And then we'll tell you what kind of beer it is.
It's going to be the Burial Ground.
Ooh, how about this one?
Dirt Bike Murder.
That is.
There you go. I feel like rad.
I'm leaning towards sour there.
It's a sour.
Yeah, it's a sour.
Like a really rough
beer.
sour. Like just nothing
beer.
but kick. There's no flavor.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is a fun game. Let's do this again.
We'll have to do this every episode.
We'll have to watch a movie so rough that we.
Oh my gosh.
We got to divert ourselves from the not so excitement of the film.
Can we, before we talk about the beer, can we take a pause?
Sure.
Real quick.
Oh, of course.
Commercial time.
Commercial time. Blake, go.
This podcast is brought to you by The Witch's Shack. All right, so come on in here and just use the microphone. Just tell us about your shack. Well, I make potions. And, all right, you're taking too long. She makes potions, both love, death, undeath, megadeath, and Metallica potions. She'll summon the undead. She'll sell fake dream catchers. But number one thing, summoning Pumpkinheads. Be warned, if you do need to summon a Pumpkinhead, bring some extra blood. Eat a cookie and orange slices so you don't get woozy. And just get ready to get shot by a college kid.
Love it.
Thanks, crazy old witch. Oh, God, she just vanished in a puff of smoke.
Poof.
Wait, my hand. It's gone.
And welcome back to Moving to Beer. Thanks for hanging out yet again with us. We are discussing kind of crazy, weird 80s era film called Pumpkinhead. Now, pumpkin beers fell out of favor about 2 years ago.
Why?
Everyone was making them. They got overdone.
Makes sense.
And they were making a whole lot of really bad ones. And so I guess the bigger breweries that always have been making them are the ones that are still making them. Because I couldn't find very many out there.
You sure Pumpkinhead didn't have anything to do with this, Dan?
He drank them all. So the two...
That's a remake I want to watch.
Yeah, it is. The two...
Pumpkinhead just drunk.
The two pumpkin beers that we had, one's from Elysian Brewing, which is up in Seattle, which is a most excellent brewery, even though some people have a problem with them selling out. I don't. I think they just have a bigger expanded ability to make bigger beers and put them out to more people, which is cool. Including Night Owl, which is their traditional pumpkin ale, which does have a lot of spice. It has ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice, so you do know that it has a lot of spice in it. It also has a bunch of, they say, pumpkin seed and pumpkin puree that are used in the wort. So part of the boil, part of the mash, and lovely in the fermenter as well. So you get pumpkin throughout. So when you add vegetable matter to beer at those different stages, you get different outcomes.
I think this is why I like this beer. I usually don't like pumpkin stuff, but I think having the actual pumpkin like parts, like the puree and all that, it's helping cut all the spices that typically drive me away from pumpkin spice based drinks.
Yeah. And this one is really
Yeah.
low bitter. It's only 18 IBU, and it's 6.7%. So it's kind of like an IPA, but it's got a little kick and a little spice.
A little bit.
I actually liked it better out of the two. So
How'd you like it, Randall?
Would this be a good beer to mix?
you know,
What'd you mix it with?
tricky.
I wouldn't mix this
Pumpkin
with
and cider?
You cut a hole into some pumpkin pie, like a toad in the hole, and you pour it in and then drink it out of the pie.
Yes.
You could do that. Would make sense.
All right, making quick note, how to ruin my Friday night.
Yes, there you go.
I liked it. Not going to complain.
Yeah,
Liked it a lot.
I was pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah.
from what I've heard, that they try to make this traditionally the same every year. They don't try to vary. The problem is you're using vegetable matter. I mean, your
That's
gonna
gonna change year to year.
Everything changes year to year, so they try to get it close. And I think they did a really good job this year.
Now I'm going to take this can back and drink from it. Sip.
And so actually, I'm also going to state that these two beers that we're talking about were purchased at Fred Meyer here in Portland in 6-pack cans, little boxes. So, they weren't that
Technically-
expensive.
Yeah. Technically, they're our sponsor now.
So, yes, you can find these. They're distributed widely. So, any last
Nice.
thoughts on this first beer?
If we had to give it another name, what would it be?
Splatter Impalement.
How about
Forest Evil.
How about-
Pitchfork Legend.
surprise ending evil?
Pitchfork Legend.
It's a Pitchfork Legend. would
Pitchfork
work.
Legend would be really a good name
It's
for
a
this
weird
beer.
remix of Jukebox Hero.
It is.
He's a
Wow.
pitchfork legend throwing bales of hay across the land.
Yes. So this beer actually went fairly well with the movie. We were all sipping
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
We
it
actually
matched-
made it like halfway through the film on one beer because we were like, oh, I don't want to just pound this. This is really nice.
Yeah, it matched really well with the whole horror movie setup where you meet all the crappy teens and the locals who summon the demon. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it matched
totally.
really well.
It did. So the second beer that we tried was from New Belgium Brewing, which is out of Longmont, Colorado, and a couple of other places, but they are best known for Fat Tire. And then they have a series of beer called Voodoo Ranger.
Which
Voodoo
are-
Ranger.
Which are big enough that you can find them like on either coast.
Yes, they're all over the place. They're all over the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
They are not owned by a big AB InBev or anybody else that I know of. They're still independent. They're about the same size as Boston Brewing Company, I think. So they produce and
Nice.
distribute all over. They have multiple locations. I have actually been to this location in Longmont, and it was kind of disappointing because it only had like one little tap room area, and it was full of kids.
Oh no.
So you can go on they have tours that you can take, and they're geared towards children as well. So it's kind of like, okay, lots of interesting stuff.
I mean,
Ethically questionable?
Yeah,
as long as you don't let the kids
Hook 'em early.
hit the tasters.
hook them early. Well, the whole thing is like the parents they keep the kids occupied and they let the parents drink. That's the whole idea.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Clever.
Voodoo Ranger came out as an IPA, and then they've modified it a few times. And this is sort of like a not IPA Voodoo Ranger style beer, and it's called Atomic Pumpkin. And the really kind of interesting thing with this beer, it's like 6.4% alcohol, 10 IBU, so it's really not bitter at all. So it's not really an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
As an ale, they did it with pumpkin juice, Saigon cinnamon, habanero, ají, and Del Arbo peppers. So it's a spicy, but it's actually not that spicy or hot. It's really mild.
It wasn't too spicy. I was hoping for more spice, actually.
I was hoping for a kick. I make a spicy Hefeweizen that's way hotter than this.
Mm-hmm. This was not. I wouldn't.
Oh, I
tell
forgot
someone
about the Hefeweizen.
spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like drinking and thinking, this is good, but I can't finish this whole pint glass.
Yeah, it's got some herbal bready notes in the mid and the back, and then it's got this like strong cinnamon and clove kind of front. That's like it's a little aromatic in front. The spice doesn't. I mean, the spice is there. It's there, but ultimately, I really feel like the capsaicins, the spiciness is just really back and it lingers. It's not an upfront spice, so it's like not a Mexican lager.
Mm-mm.
not a spicy Mexican drink.
I wasn't as wild about this beer, but I thought it matched okay with the normal monster killing scenes.
Yes.
The scenes of monster killing college students.
It was about as spicy as this movie was scary.
And I was going to say, so the second scariest part to this film was when the old man, the dad, when he was carrying the son in, and he goes to visit the old witch hag, and he doesn't even knock. He just walks on in, and she's expecting him. And she says, "Hey, Harley, you going to put your son down over there and pay me my money?" And that was scary because they did some really nice camera work and lighting with that, because it was like her head was so shrunken, like emaciated and just like skin and bones. It looked like just a skeleton head, even though she was really there.
It was real creepy.
It was super creepy. And then you actually saw when he came back after he dug up the old Pumpkinhead so he could become the new one, which he didn't know that was going to happen. Plot spoil. She was standing there waiting for him again, going like, "Bring him on in, drop him over there."
My LoJack spell worked.
It did.
Okay, the number one keyword for this plot of this movie, Pumpkinhead, was demon.
Demon.
Let's see what other movies come up when we click on the keyword.
Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Evil.
Evil.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Buffy.
I guess he is a demon, huh?
Buffy. I guess so, yeah.
Well, so this is including TV and movies. It's not
TV and
just
movies,
because it's got like the New Mutants, which hasn't even been released yet.
Spoiler alert.
It's rocking old 5.5.
Well, next
Boy, that's
time
a
I'm
bummer.
looking for a demon movie to watch, I might give the New Mutant. Well, wait, it's not out yet. Is that ever coming out?
No.
Oh, August? No.
Apparently, people got to watch it. Like reviewers got to watch it, and they shredded it to pieces.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
it got really bad
It's
reviews.
just
It's bad.
never did great.
Yeah.
No, there's no good point, which is a bummer because I like a lot of the actors and they're interesting characters. I never read a lot of X-Men comics, but I don't know.
Hereditary.
I refuse to watch that.
You guys haven't seen it?
I'm not going to. I
Wow.
can appreciate how well made it is, but the Wikipedia article messed me up.
How about we
Same
watch a little Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
I'm down with that. No, how about Thor Ragnarok?
How is Demon related to that in any way, shape, or form?
I was going to ask that
No
for
idea.
Thor Ragnarok.
That doesn't make any sense.
Unless they call the Hulk demon something.
I
Oh,
don't
right.
know. That's a very interesting list you're looking at there. I would disagree with all of them.
Well, do we want to say anything else about beer?
I think it was really good. I mean, I think out of the two beers, they both went well with the film. We waited for the spicy one for the later half of the film.
Yeah.
We were sipping on it. It went well with the killing scenes because, Pumpkinhead does kill a few people off, which is appropriate.
Was this more of a monster killing beer or a dirt bike murder beer?
This is the monster killing beer. The dirt bike killing beer would be the regular Night Owl, because I think that one, just as a pumpkin, it tastes like pumpkin, and then it leads up to, we switched over right about the time that he dug up Pumpkinhead to like become Pumpkinhead, and that's like, oh, let's go to the spicy one because everything's gonna get spicy in the film now.
Mm-hmm.
I would love if Pumpkinhead like held a teen up and just went caliente, and then like tore its head open or something.
So good.
It's not anime. It's not. It's all practical effects. He didn't really rip anybody apart. He just kind of scraped them with his fingernail a couple of times, and then probably the best horror part of it was he like stabbed the dude with his rifle and like held him up by the rifle, and it's kind of
was pretty cool.
And the dude was still shaking around. I mean, so it's kind of like suspending a bunch of belief to believe that like the dude is still shaking around after he already has his spine impaled. But okay, whatever.
Okay, so I'd give the gold medal to the Elysian Night Owl.
Yes.
Yeah.
The silver medal to the Pumpkinhead Monster. And the bronze to the Voodoo Ranger.
Right on. I'd agree.
How do you guys feel about that?
I like it.
Agree? Disagree?
The judges from France are not digging it, but what are you gonna do?
The judges from France always lie.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Say oui. All right, well, this is bringing us to the close of our episode. As always, if you're going to imbibe while you watch something, be it alcohol-wise, please remember to hydrate.
Or dihydrate.
Yep. And all of the opinions expressed during the taping of this episode are those of the hosts. And so this is Dan Kapersky signing off, thanking you for listening.
This is Blake saying bye, everybody.
Randall saying bye.
All right.
Bye, pumpkin lovers.
Catch you on the next episode, everyone. See you later.